What a fucking treat, Liverpool. Hello! Lovely to see you. You alright? Right, let's crack on. I've lost 3 stone. And I've put every single pound of it back on. Ask me how. Well, Nestle announced they were cancelling the Karamat bar and I fucking panicked. 200 bars in 1 month. And I'm back to my fighting weight. And yet, I remain a legend. I must be. I fucking must be. You know why? Because someone checks it at me every day of my life. I mean, sure, it's normally men in white vans, basically. People who can't let the fucking in-betweeners go. Every day of my life, Gilbert, you fucking legend! Gilbert, you legend! Legend! And I get this a lot. Where's Will? Where's Will? Where's Will? Well, I imagine Simon Bird is at home, being as he is, a 42-year-old father of 2. Fucking get on with your building. Fucking legend. You know what though? It doesn't half fucking rub off on you after a while. You do start to believe it. You do start prancing around going, maybe I am a legend. But life's got this amazing ability, I found, of putting you in your fucking place. And really, that's what this show is. I'm going to tell you 4 things that happened to me in 2024, and it was every time I was getting cocky about how well I've done, I got put in my place. Okay? Here's the first one. Are you ready? My prostate It's the first time that's got a round of applause, believe me. Fucking hell. My prostate went to DEFCON 1. I'm up to 3 pisses a night now. 3 pisses a night. And you women think you've got problems. I'm blaming. I'm just blaming. That's not sleeping, is it? That's nodding off between pisses. But I've got used to it. I've accepted that's my life, and then something awful happened. 2024. I was on holiday, I'd had my 3 pisses, and I was looking forward to fucking 2 miserable hours of sleep. When, I can barely bring myself to tell you this, I got woken up a 4th time, and I went, no! This stops here! I am striking a blow for middle-aged men around the fucking globe, and I made a decision there and then that whatever happened, I was not leaving my bed for that piss. I looked around, mercifully, you fucking lunatic. I'm moving away from you. Never had someone look so excited by my prostate. Shut up, you fucking maniac! I had a look round, and thank God, I will have you, I'll have you put down with me. I've got people. I had a look round, there was an empty pint glass by my bed. Now, fuck off. That's it, if you're offended by that, you're in for a long night, I tell you that. So I thought, right, here we go. I rolled over, and I quite reasonably, I think, the middle-aged men will agree with me, I decanted my hot, salty mead into that pint glass. Here's an interesting little fact. Each of my nighttime pisses, it turns out, is exactly 1 British pint. I'm all right, I'm good now, I've just been. So I filled it up and I went back to sleep going, fuck you, prostate, this is for middle-aged men. And I went back to sleep. You're not going to believe this. I got woken up a 5th time. If there'd been a spoon in that room, I would have hoiked my fucking prostate out of my ass with that spoon. I was so angry. Then, thank God, ladies and gentlemen, I realised that I hadn't been woken up because I needed another piss. No. This time, I'd understandably been woken up because I was somewhat thirsty. Now, let me tell you, that is not a refreshing beverage. 3 full gulps I was into it. 3 salty gulps. What a fucking legend. Do you think King Arthur was drinking his own piss when he was saving Camelot? Fucking heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. This is last year. I bonded with someone at work about my prostate. I was filming in the evening. And I noticed that someone I was working with kept going off to the toilet for a piss. And I thought, aye. I know what's going on here. I wonder if I dare bond with him. So I waited for him to come back onto the film set and I went, everything all right? And he went, yeah. Quite defensive straight away. Yeah, why? No, just kind of noticed you've been to the toilet a lot. He went, yeah, and? And I went, it's a prostate. And his eyes sort of lit up. And he went, yeah. And I went, how many pisses you on? He goes, oh, not twice a night. I went, fucking strap yourself in, son. And then I thought, dare I go to the next level? Dare I go to the next level of bonding with this total stranger he was to me? Because I've been put on the bog standard prostate drug. It's called tamulozin, I think is the pronunciation. Are there any men in the room on tamulozin? Yeah? One man says yes, there's fucking loads more. I'll tell you now. I can see it in your eyes. I can see it. And there's a reason you're not admitting to it. It's because tamulozin has a side effect that they don't tell you about. And they should tell you about it. And you're a nice, polite Wednesday night crowd, so I'm going to be as nice about it as I can. If you enjoy not you. If you were to enjoy some special boy time when you're on tamulozin, when that activity reaches its natural conclusion, the well is dry. Do you understand what I'm talking about? It's fucking dust comes out. It is terrifying. I was too embarrassed to go back to the doctor. I was too embarrassed, so I had to do a controlled experiment. I had to take myself off the drug and then have words with myself, and thank God the meagre amount was restored. So I thought, I've never talked to anyone about it. Dare I talk to this man about it? And I went, are you on the drug? And he went, his eyes went cold. And he went, why? I went, are you on the drug? And he went, yeah. And I went, you notice any side effects? And he went, yeah, of course I have. And I went, what? And he went, I don't want to say. And I went, say it. We've got to stick together, son. Say it. And he went, oh. And he went quite medical, fair play to him. He went, there's no ejaculate. I went, there is no ejaculate. You feel better now? He put his arm on me, he went, I do actually. I went, see, we've got to talk to each other, man. Women talk to each other all the time. We've got to talk to each other. He goes, I agree. Nice little story, isn't it? Now I'm going to demonstrate to you the power of words, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm going to make that story 10 times funnier with one sentence. You ready? That man was Duncan from Blue. No, wait. We don't tweet. We don't go on Twitter because Greg hasn't told Duncan. So, I've had his fucking number for months. How can I ring Duncan from Blue up? How can I ring him up and say I've been talking about you all around the country about how you can't spunk up, Duncan? Spunk up. Saw that. You can have that. So, it's one of my memories from 2024 that proved I'm not a legend. And it raised a question for me. If I'm not a legend, and I'm truly not, I'm a stupid fat man. If I'm not, then what the fuck am I? What am I? Well, thank you, Madden. That's nice. I'm so glad they've let people with visual impairment into the front. So look, I've gone back, I've tried to work out who I am, because I've got a theory. I've got a theory that we all pretend that we know who we are, whatever age you all are now. If I said to you, put your hand up if you know exactly who you are, there'd be about 3 people in this whole room that put their hand up, and those people, ladies and gentlemen, would be knobs, right? Because the rest of us know full well that we're just 12-year-olds hiding in bodies, pretending that we know what we're doing. And I've decided to fucking drill down into myself and to see exactly who I am. So I started with some basic research. I decided I'd go on Google and I'd Google myself to see what the general public ask about me. Have a look at this shit. Is there one that stands out in particular? That's been Googled thousands of times. Why am I tall? Glands. How much do I weigh? 19 stone plus 200 Caramax. Am I disabled? Not that there's anything wrong with being disabled, but what the fuck? I was chatting to the BBC's disability coordinator, and I went, you're not going to believe this, I found out that people keep Googling whether I'm disabled or not. And she, I swear to you, she's a disabled coordinator for the whole of the BBC, she went, you are. And I went, what are you talking about? She goes, anything above 6'7" is considered disabled. And she said, technically you could apply for a blue badge. And I cannot tell you how fucking tempted I've been. Jeez. Is Greg Davis dying? Probably. This annoyed me. Is Alan Davis Greg Davis's uncle? How many Davises do you think there fucking are? Was Greg Davis on Gladiators? No, he wasn't. But I'll tell you this, and I'm not naming names, I've snubbed a gladiator. All right, Wolf. Are Greg Davis and Alex Horne in love? No. No, we're not. But you can have this as an exclusive. Part of me would like to fuck him. Does Greg Davis struggle to find shoes? I do. My feet are very big, but believe me, the saying is not true. When I lost all that weight, actually, I had a shower and I thought, something's not right. What's not right? Something's not right. And then I realised it was the first time in 20 years I'd seen my penis standing up. It was like bumping into an old friend that had fallen on hard times. So that didn't help. What am I? Because I got put under big pressure at school to decide what I am. Did you? I don't think the fucking kids get put under pressure anymore. We were told, I was told at 11, what do you want to be? What do you want to be? And my conclusion was, a truck driver, just because I'd seen the Yorkie adverts, right? So if I'd have to stick with that, I'd be in lay-bys now, wanking myself off. Even fatter than I am. No offence, lorry driver. But who did end up doing? Well, let me do a random survey. What did you want to be when you were a kid? A golf club. Okay, this guy's mad. Go on, what do you want to be? You wanted to work at a golf club? Oh, Icarus. He did! He did! What did you end up doing? Fuck me, a fibre optic engineer. That's fascinating, isn't it? I've got nothing funny to say about that. Yeah, I just can't believe the pressure that we get put on, or we certainly did back when I was a kid. The kids don't, well, partly because there's no jobs left for the poor cunts now, is there? There's no job left for kids. I mean, they've even got us packing our own shopping at supermarkets, haven't they? There's not even jobs left for the thick kids. And all kids think they're going to be internet sensations now, don't they? They all go and buy a podcast mic, start fucking banging on about mindfulness. There's nothing left. The youth are, it's a nation of bullshitters for young people. I feel for them. I met a bloke, the biggest chancer I've ever met. I was filming, right? And I won't explain why, I needed a seagull. And I was filming in another country, right? And I had to get this seagull. So I said to my producer, can we get a seagull? She went, yeah, don't you worry. We've got, in this particular country, we've got the foremost animal handler. And I went, oh, that's good. Now, again, I'm not going to tell you what country I was in because I want to do the accent. And that's not cool anymore. So, I'm going to do the accent without telling you where I was. And if you think it's racist, that's on you. So, I went over and met this bloke, and there was a box next to him with something inside going fucking mental, squawking. And I went, is that my seagull? He goes, oh yeah, well, we've got to do the seagull, so we did. Go and have a look in the fucking mirror. All right, thanks. And you're an animal handler. He goes, oh yeah. Oh, we do the animal handling, that's all we do. I went, what shows have you done the animal handling for? He goes, oh, we've done all the shows. We did the Game of the Thrones. We did the Game of the Thrones, did you? He goes, oh yeah, we did the Game of the Thrones. And I went, you just happen to have a seagull? He goes, oh no, we don't keep the seagulls. He goes, we've only got the horses. And I went, so where'd you get that? Do you want to know where he got it? And this is, on my life this is true. He drove to a McDonald's car park. I swear to you. He opened his fucking sunroof. He bought some fries and he put them around the edge of the sunroof. And then when some poor seagull landed to have a fry, he jumped out like a fucking jack in the box and he went, ah! And when he put his invoice in, he charged us for the fries. Cheeky cunt. Anyway, this seagull was going mental, and then we had to film with the poor thing all day. And I noticed after a while it was covered in blood. And I thought, I'm putting a stop to this. I'm going to have a word with Game of the Thrones. And I went over and I went, I don't want to use this anymore. He goes, oh, why not? You wanted a fucking... Oh, I don't know where he's from now. You wanted a fucking seagull? He's Scandinavian, he's got it. He's part Scandinavian. And the fucking seagull threw it in? And I went, yes. But I don't want animal cruelty on my set. It's covered in blood. And he went, it's not his blood, it's fucking mine! You've been picking the fucking shit out of me! So, back when I was at school, we had to make hard decisions, but there were jobs. But I still think it's mad to ask us to do jobs. Anyway, let's talk about my upbringing, right? I'm going to tell you something about myself that I know for sure. I don't know much, but I know this for sure. I'm not sexist. I'm not racist, despite that accent. I'm not racist, and I'm not a homophobe. Oh, you don't seem to be applauding me, interesting. I'll tell you why you're not applauding me, because of course I shouldn't be any of those things. Why do I expect applause? I'll tell you why. because I grew up in the 1970s. How fucking enlightened do you think my upbringing was? It's amazing I'm not full of hate. It's a fucking... And I'll tell you this, I grew up in rural Shropshire, not far from here. What do you think the messages from rural Shropshire were to a young man? Well, I'll set the scene for you. There was a man in my village who got arrested because he tried to fuck a magpie. Does that help? And I've got two nieces now, and their upbringing's incredible. They've all got safeguarding. Children get safeguarded. I'm always hearing about all the safeguards that are put in place. For the older people in the room, were you safeguarded as a child? I'll tell you what my safeguarding was. I would get home from school and my mum would say, get out. Get out of the house. I'd wake up on a Saturday morning and she'd say, get out of the house and come back at 6 p.m. when I will feed you something with no nutritional value. And I used to go, where should we go? She said, I couldn't care less. I don't care. And we used to go and play on a fucking building site. And I'll tell you this, and there's not many people who'd be brave enough to say this, pedos have it hard these days. It's fucking tough for those guys. There's people waiting for them around every corner. Not when I was a child. My mum and dad would take us to the supermarket and in prams, and they would leave us outside the supermarket in prams, and then they'd go in and they'd shop for 1 hour. And we were just left outside, and it wasn't just us, it was a whole fucking row of kids. It was a paedophile pick and mix, ladies and gentlemen. And I remember saying to my mum and dad, when I was a bit older, do you think you looked after us as kids? And they went, yeah, of course we did. Of course we looked after you. I went, I don't know. We were largely not in the house. The longest I was allowed in the house was when the Jubilee was on telly. And Mum made me watch it, kept shouting, this is what Britain's about. And then she kicked me out of the fucking house for the rest of the time. And my dad went, oh, you're spoiled. You're a spoiled generation. And I went, we could have been picked up by a sex offender as well. Like, God almighty, son. Can't be worrying about a few kiddie fiddlers, which is a fascinating expression, isn't it, kiddie fiddler? Sounds like a fun board game, doesn't it? He goes, you had it easier than I had it. And I went, how? How's that possible? Well, my dad grew up in a beautiful, beautiful, picturesque town called Wrexham. You'll be familiar with Wrexham. Don't believe what Ryan Reynolds tells you. It's a fascinating place. I bet there's some North Walians in it, though. Hey, are you? I've spent the last week trying to perfect the North Wales accent. Because all my relatives are from North Wales, and they've got a thick North Walian accent. Now I can do South Wales, because it's all singing song and nice to see. Some South Walians in, are there? Yeah, see, who come down to the valleys and hang around with us and have a lovely time. The North Walian accent is fascinating. It travels up the throat. It becomes high. I'm only talking about my relatives, maybe my relatives. It becomes higher, see? And it comes from a part of the... It comes from a part of the mouth that used before. So my relatives are like... Oh, that's correct. And I love see? Saw you on the television. Quite a job you've got to touch. A jester ale. Some kind of jester ale. My dad said, you fucking lucky son. You're lucky. In my village, there was a gang of paedophiles. And I went, so there was a known gang of paedophiles. I went, what are you talking about? He goes, I can even tell you what the leader was called Dougie Doo. And they used to ride around on bikes, 10 of them, trying to pick up kids. And I went, well, what did the police do? He goes, oh, we wouldn't bother the police or something like that. I said, so they were just openly operating paedophiles, ignore this. I said, so what did your parents do about it? He goes, well, they gave us advice and they expected us to be some common sense. I went, what advice did they give you, Dad? Here it is. This is what the advice I got. If you can! If you can! If you can't, well, I guess you're getting fucked. I love the people of North Wales. My feeling is they don't care what happens to them in life. They accept it. All my family, whatever happens to them, accept it. My dad's friend, school friend, Judith, in later life, her husband was working in a factory, a sheet of steel fell off a machine and it cut his head off. I know, awful. 2 weeks after that happened, we went to see Judith, and my dad said, Judith, we've come as a family to tell you how horrified we are at what's happened to Bollywood. And we're here for you. And I swear to you, 2 weeks after her husband's had his head chopped off, this is what Judith said. Oh, what can you do? It happens, doesn't it? Not really, Judith. Not really. Bullying's fascinating. No one gets bullied in schools. My niece just say there's breakwaters between bullies. They get weeded out. They have a bully-free existence. Everyone got bullied at my school. Everyone. It was a rite of passage. And I'm not joking about this. I once saw a child. Well, I'm going to tell you about him first. His name was Funny Davidson. And he was called Funny because if you took the piss out of him, as everyone did, he would go funny back. So he called the poor guy Funny. What was his name? The teachers called him Funny. I remember someone punching him in the stomach once and he was on the floor and I went and said to the kid, leave him alone, he gets enough shit, Funny does. And I went over and I put my hand down and I went, you alright, Funny? And he looked up at me and he went, you got me right in the solar plexus. I went, no, you fucking deserve it. I saw Funny Hunter walk across a playground once and someone shouted, oi, Funny, heads up! And he threw a live dog at him. An actual dog was running through the playground and he picked it up and he threw a fucking dog at him. Heads up, Funny! And do you know who that person was? It was our maths teacher, Mr. Carter. I'm not joking. There was a lad called No Neck Johnson, the young No Neck. Bad enough to have no neck in life, isn't it? The careers teacher, when he was pinning us all down, what are you going to be? You're 11, you need to decide now, what are you going to be? And then he read them all out. He read out, I was going to be a lorry driver. No Neck Johnson had written, I want to be a competitive walker. Now, for the rest of his school life, all of us walked past him. Fucking rude. I got through school by pissing about. That's it. I made up stupid stories with my friends, and it's the only thing I've ever enjoyed doing, but you don't get told you can do that as a fucking career, ladies and gentlemen. So, home. What was home? Well, it was two things. On the outside, it was respectable, because my mum was a violent enforcer of the family image. Okay? To the outside world, we were a normal family. Within the family, it was fucking weird. My dad bullied us. I once told my dad that I was worried that my turds were coming out flat. And he called me Tapey Turd for the rest of my life. Right, Tapey Turd. We got our revenge on him. We used to call him Poo Fingers because he would go for a shit and read the newspaper. He'd come out and we'd sing Poo Fingers to the James Bond thing. Good times. I've got a picture of me measuring my mum's ass with a ruler because her nickname was Longcrack within the house. But to the outside world, we were normal. The person who got bullied the most was my sister, and I can say this hand on heart, It's the greatest achievement of my life, is my ability to make that girl lose her temper. I did lots of things. I invented a game called Mad Helmet Murderer, which involved me and my friend Chinese Mark. Not Chinese. There were no Chinese in Shropshire, ladies and gentlemen. He was called Chinese Mark, genuinely, because he couldn't wink. These are the rules of Mad Helmet Murderer. My 8-year-old sister gets a 1970s motorcycle helmet strapped onto her. She hides for 30 seconds. We chase her with cricket bats. We beat the fucking shit out of her. End of game. But the best game I ever invented for her was called Question Time. And I just used to ask her questions until she lost her shit. Christmas Day, 1979. I said to her, Sean, and she went, no question time. I went, oh, go on, just a couple of questions. She went, what? I went, if I had a secret about you, would you want me to share it with you? She went, of course I would, it's thick as shit. Of course I would, what? And I went, I'm really sorry to do this to you, but especially on Christmas morning. You're adopted. I'm not, I went, you are, I'm afraid. And there's more than that. Mum and Dad, they got you from the Congo. I'm not from the Congo, and you are from the Congo. They just changed your name. She goes, what's my name? I said, it's Wally Bongo. No, I'm not proud of that. I've checked, it's not a Congolese name. Don't be angry with me, it's 12-year-old Greg you want to go back and have a go at. It's disgusting. She started crying, I don't know Wally Bongo. My parents came in, and here's the difference between you kids, your upbringing, and my upbringing. My parents came in, and my dad went, what's all this fuss? And my sister went, I'm from the Congo. And my parents pissed themselves laughing, and then they started calling her Wally Bongo. It was a different time, ladies and gentlemen. She's redeemed herself since. She became a nurse, my sister. Started nurse training. Fucking worthy job. I've always been fucking resentful. Oh, she's a nurse. When I was honestly an asthmatic loser, average at everything. I was good at one thing, winding my sister up and pissing about. So, what else do I need to tell you about my childhood? Sex ed. I want to tell you about the sex ed I received before I set off into the big wide world. I don't know what you had, you young people. You don't find sex funny because you get told what it is, and you get told it's beautiful, and you get told how to be safe. I got told nothing. And I want to set the scene of what the messages that a young man like me got in the 70s. And I'm going to set that by telling you a quote from my mum, a recent quote, just to give you an idea of the atmosphere I grew up with, my attitude to women. You ready? Mum always does a good quote for my show. Here's the latest, here's the first part. These women's movements are all very well, Greg. Now that doesn't bode well, does it? Here's the second part. But if I went to a party in the 70s and someone didn't try and feel my tits, I would have been offended. And I told her I'm using that quote, and she went, I stand by it. These are the messages that 12-year-old Greg got. Do you know who my main role model was growing up between 0 and 12? It was Sean Connery. James Bond films were on all the time, and I watched them fucking religiously. And I've gone back since I started doing this show to see what the message is from Sean Connery about how a man should treat a woman. And I watched the scene in Thunderball because I couldn't believe it existed. It was Sean Connery seducing a woman. He'd just moved to a health farm for the week. Within 10 minutes, he seduced his nurse, and he did it, you'll think I'm making this up, by rubbing a fur glove on her back. Right? The camera pans, she's nursing him, then he goes, would you like to do something a bit more interesting? And she goes, no, no, no. Cut to the bed. Connery Connery's rubbing her back. His hand comes into focus. He's got a massive fucking fur glove on. It pans back to her face and she goes, "Oh, James, I couldn't resist your fur glove. It's so relaxing." And it pans up to Connery's face and he goes, "Yes, it's Mick." Then the camera pans away while he fucks her. What's a 12-year-old boy to think about that? Well, A, when I go away, I pack my clothes, and then I pack a fucking fur glove. Don't worry about condoms. Don't worry about dying of ignorance. Get a fucking fur glove. Do you think I'm making this up? Have a look. It's Mick. Now, the third part of my sextet was called Freeman's Catalogue. That's about half the audience laughing now. That's anyone over 40. That was my whole sextet. We got a Freeman's Catalogue delivered once every 6 months. I waited for my mum to use it. It sold everything. It was like a big Argos catalogue, if you don't know. Every 6 months it would come. I would take the old one when the new one arrived, and then I would go to my bedroom and I would flick straight to the underwear section, the ladies' underwear section, and I would look at the ladies in their big bras and their really massive knickers that concealed their big furry growlers. Fucking love a growler. Bring back the growler, I say. You can't, you've had it all lasered off now, haven't you, you fools? Every woman in that catalogue looked like she had a mint glove down her pants. And it drove me crazy. But I didn't understand the feelings. I didn't understand what the feelings the big pants generated, because no one had told me. So, once, late 70s, my friend Peter comes round. We've been out for the day conquering. Not, I mean, it's a sixer. That's a sixer. We've been conquering. We get back to my bedroom. He's staying in a camp bed in my bedroom, and I go, "You ever look through the Freeman's Catalogue?" He went, no, what's the Freeman's Catalogue? Because he lived in a backwater place, even more mad than Wham, where I'm from. It's fucking, that's it, hey? It was from Winshill. Who let you come here? He did live on Winshill Moss. I know. Yeah, I bet you know who his dad was. Do you know Cliff Bellingham? Nope. He worked on the moss. There was a moss there, and Pete's dad used to dig up the peat for fireplace. That was his job. So, I mean, it's amazing they had a telly. They hadn't heard of Freeman's Catalogue, and I flicked straight to the section. Well, it fell open, the section. And Peter flicked through it with me. And I could see he was the same. He didn't know what he was dealing with. He was like, "Oh, the big pants." They are big pants. And then we went to our separate beds. We were having a sleepover. The lights went out, and it became an unwritten discussion. It was not spoken, but we were going to experience that special thing, probably for the first time. So that in the night, I explored myself, and that finished, and I wasn't on the pills, so it was a messy old business. And then I lay there feeling confused and guilty. And after 10 minutes, I thought, I need to talk to someone. I've left it. I need to talk to Peter. So in the darkness, I just called out. I went, "Hey, you all right?" Silence. And I went, I was thinking we could go up to the vicarage tomorrow. They've got some good conkers there. And Peter replied in the darkness, "I swear to you, these two words have haunted me for my whole life. And I think they're part of the reason why I'm still single, ladies and gentlemen. I really think this has an impact on me. It scarred me. Because in the darkness, when I said, shall we go conquering at the village, 2 words came back from the darkness. Peter had a very high-pitched voice, and these were the words. Not finished. And then I had to listen to him. Fucking shucking oysters. These were the skills. These were the skills that I was equipped with when I left school. Can you imagine? But we all know I've done all right? I've done all right because you paid to come and see me, so, you know, presumably, yes, thank you, and I'm very grateful, but presumably there's a happy ending. Well, let's go back to 2024. And the second thing that's put me in my place, that reminded me that I'm far from being a legend. This is my morning routine. Let me paint you a picture. I wake up like this. I presume I'm dead. I feel around my fat carcass. I decide I'm alive. I stand up. I'm in pants, and I mean briefs. Then I reach for my phone, and I pop it in my pants, so I can transport it through to the kitchen, where I will get the elixir that will keep me alive, my morning coffee. I walk past a full-length mirror. I remark that I look like a bag of suet. I stand against the coffee machine and I press it, and it starts whirring and telling me I have to empty a drawer and I have to fill some fucking water, needy cunt. And I curse it. I go, hurry up, hurry up. And one morning in 2024, bearing in mind I'm on telly, I was leaning against it and I heard this distant voice. Hello? Quite well spoken. Hello? I went, that's it, you've gone. You've finally gone. You've lost your fucking mind. Hello, Greg. It's not getting personal. Greg. Hello? Greg? Greg? At one point I went, man! Hello, Greg? Greg? And then I realised it wasn't coming from the ether, ladies and gentlemen. It was coming from my pants. Hello, Greg? I went, hello? Then I remembered my phone was down there and I pulled it out. And I had somehow phoned my ex-girlfriend. It didn't end well, and I haven't spoken to her for 7 full years. And I pick up the phone, I go, hello? And she goes, hello, you all right? Is it your mum? Is your mum all right? And I went, your mum's fine. Mum's fine, thank you. And she went, oh, thank God. Well, then why have you called? And I hadn't had my morning coffee, ladies and gentlemen. So I guess I just told her the truth. I said, well, I think maybe my knob ran. And she went, right. Well, it's been lovely to talk to you, but I'm going to go now. And she hung up, and who wouldn't? Fair play to her. Funny little story, isn't it? I'll make it 10 times funnier for you. That woman, ladies and gentlemen, is the current Secretary of State for Work and Pensions. You can fucking tweet about her, I couldn't care less. I'm good, she's nice. Good. So I went to university armed with those skills, but we're back in my past now. I did a course in drama, but I was put on a campus with football boys. So I spent my evenings necking pints of lager and my days wearing a caftan and crying. I was shit. I was a shit actor. You've seen the programmes. There's not a lot of range there, is there? I tried using my sexual skills that I gained in Shropshire. The first time I had sex with a woman in university, she opened a Marks and Spencer's Gooseberry Fool and she threw it onto my penis, and then she started enthusiastically lapping it up. And I thought, yeah, this is normal, this is normal. And then I realised she just liked Gooseberry Fool. I mean, it was a disaster. The only thing I was ever good at was being silly. So whenever there was a silly part, they gave it to me, and the rest of the time I was largely ignored, and I drank myself to death. Then disaster happened. My dad, who used to teach abroad, he came back. He'd been teaching in Nigeria, and he came back. I lived near Heathrow, so he came and stayed with me. Got in at midnight, and he went to a horrible student house. I showed him the spare room. He goes, "I'm not sleeping in that. It's disgusting." He goes, "Well, I'll sleep in your bed with you." And I went, "All right." We were very close. Not that close. So he got into bed with me, and we were lying there in the morning we woke up, we were lying having a cup of tea, and he goes, "Do you think you should give up on this silly showing off business? Do you think you should get a proper job? You should get a title?" And I went, "Oh, I was hoping I could do comedy or something." He goes, "Come on. Just get a job. Why don't you try teaching?" It's the worst piece of advice I've ever been given. Why don't you try teaching? But it sort of made sense to me at the time. And that chat ended in the most fascinating of ways, with me going, "Yeah, I guess I could give it a go after uni. I could give teaching a go." And then my dad went, "Good lad. You're a good lad." And then he went, "Can you smell gooseberries?" And then he shuffled about in my bed and he went, "Something has been stuck to my leg all night, son." And I went, "Is it?" And he went down and he pulled out a used condom with my sperm clearly visible in it. And he just stared at me. And after a few seconds, he said, "Just this." But I thought he's right. I've got to get my shit together, so I started teaching. Are the teachers in? God fucking bless you, people. God bless you. We all think that teachers are respectable people, don't we? We all think they're normal on the outside world. And when I joined teaching, I fucking bought into it myself. I loved it because someone handed me a title and a fucking job, and I was respected. They gave me keys! I can open doors with keys! And little people started calling me sir. "Hello, sir." I was like, "Hello!" I forgot for 6 months that I'm a total bellend. I wore a paisley tie and big chinos, and I marched around thinking I've done it. Dad was right. I've given myself a personality. And then I went on a school trip to Cornwall with an old English teacher called Lynn Thomas. We went down to Cornwall, and he said to me, "Will you go and look after the boys? They're in the swimming pool." And I went, "I will go and look after the boys in the swimming pool." And I got a whistle. I went, "Fucking whistle!" And I went in and I went, "No, no, boys! No running! You be sensible now!" And then it happened. One boy at the side of the pool, he went, "Oh, sir." And I went, "Yes." He went, "You should throw Daniel." I went, "What?" He goes, "You should throw Daniel." I went, "What are you talking about? I should throw Daniel?" He goes, "He's tiny, Daniel Bowden." He said, "Look, he's only 4'10". You should throw him. You're getting miles." I went, "I hardly think I'm going to throw a pupil, young man." Throw Daniel. But then all the boys started chanting, "Sir, throw Daniel. Sir, throw Daniel. Sir, throw Daniel. Sir, throw Daniel." Fucking Daniel joined in. "Throw me, throw me, throw me, throw me." And I remembered the playground. And I remembered being shit at everything. And I thought, Daniel like me. These boys all like me. And I loved the attention. And a voice in my head started going, you shouldn't throw Daniel. You shouldn't throw Daniel. You shouldn't throw Daniel. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I grabbed that fucking child and I threw him with all my might. And he fucking sailed out over the swimming pool. And the kids were going, throw Daniel, and I throw him. And then I realised Daniel was going out, and then up. And I saw him heading towards the ceiling. And in slow motion I went, no! And Daniel went, oh, bam! And he fell, fully unconscious, into the pool. And the boys all went, ooh. And one boy went, someone's killed Daniel. And I jumped into the pool and I pulled Daniel out dead, as far as I'm aware. I get into the pool, I go, no! Lynn Thomas burst in. He goes, what the hell's going on in here? And one of the boys went, you shut the fuck up! And he went over and he grabbed Daniel, and this is the difference between now and the 90s, 1991. He grabbed Daniel and he slapped him across the face. And a boy who seems to be drowned, he went, BAM! Stop showing off, Daniel! And Daniel coughed up water and there we are. It's fine. Walk him around, boys, walk him around. And then Lynn came up to me and he went, well, what happened there? I went, oh, he banged his head, Lynn, I'm sorry, it's a nightmare. He goes, yes, I know, how did he bang his head? And I went, I hadn't had a coffee that morning, ladies and gentlemen. And I just think the truth came out. And I went, well, I guess I threw Daniel. When you threw it? I didn't throw it. And then he went, wow, you must have got him miles, didn't you? He's tiny. I said, I did get him a long way. He goes, there we are. No harm done. I went, should I ring his mum? He goes, if you want. So I did, I rang Mrs. Bowden. I went, Mrs. Bowden, it's Mr. Davis, I'm so sorry, Daniel's banged his head. We've had him checked out by paramedics, he's absolutely fine. And she went, he's banged his head. I went, he has, he's absolutely fine. She went, thank you. Well, thank you for ringing. Do let me know how he is later. I went, of course I will. Goodbye. And before I could hang up, she went, Mr. Davis, how did he bang his head? And I went, I threw Daniel. And I swear to you, she went, how far did you get him? It's time. It wasn't that made me leave teaching. It was something else. I taught for fucking 13 years or something like that. Towards the end, something happened that made me think, I've got to try and do comedy. I've got to give comedy a go. And it was this. My dad was a brilliant professor of education all around the country. My dad, in the 80s, he got asked by a group of islands. And this story is just so there's something sweet for you to take home rather than lots of dick or shit gags, right? He got invited by the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the Bahamas to create their whole education system. Now, the things you know about my dad is my dad was a fucking lunatic. He was hilarious. He was the most loving, wonderful man. But when he spoke about work, he was boring as fuck. Let me give you a contrast. Someone at one of my gigs recently, a jewellery maker, gave me a key ring and she'd engraved on it something that my dad once said to me when I called him Poo Fingers, right? And it's a really lovely silver key ring, and written on it, stamped into it, is the phrase, "Don't mess with me, you fuck pig." Right? Something he genuinely said to me once. When I showed it to my mum and sister, they both went, oh. But when it came to talking about his work, he was fucking boring. He loved being a professor. When he got that job, he went, I should be delighted to develop your education system, and then he bored us to fucking death for 35 years about it. Of course, you remember when I created an education system, and we all went, yes, yes, we remember. He got old and knackered. He had a stroke, he got dementia, he was a mess of a human being, and a shadow of the funny man I knew. My mum did this wonderful thing. She took him on a cruise of the Bahamas. She rang the government and said, 40 years ago or something, my husband designed your education system. Is the Prime Minister still alive? And they went, he's retired, but he's alive. Would the Prime Minister meet my husband and reminisce? And they said, he would be delighted. We know he would. So they got to the St. Vincent, and my dad was in a wheelchair at the time, and she wheeled him onto the island, and she went, you recognise this? He went, I think this is St. Vincent. And she went, it is, Bob. He went, well, I designed the whole education system for these islands. And she went, yes, I know. And he goes, this is the Prime Minister's house. She went, it is, and who's in the door? And standing there was the old Prime Minister, Sir Joseph, and he went, Bob Davis. And my dad went, oh God! They wheeled him in, they put sandwiches and tea out. So fucking lovely, right? And they sat down and they reminisced about the past. And Mum said she'd never seen Dad happier. Nice, isn't it? But why would this story make me want to give up teaching? No, it doesn't make sense, does it? It's a nice story. Well, at the end of the conversation, the Prime Minister smiled at my dad, and my dad said, can I say something to you, Sir Joseph? Designing that education system was one of the great honours of my life. And this is what the Prime Minister said back. It's fucking glorious, isn't it? Mum said Dad went like this. He did see the funny side in the end, he did. He did laugh at it. But it really made me think about, you know, how you want to be remembered and how you want to define yourself. I went, I'm shit at teaching. I need to have a go at the only thing I've ever been good at, and that's pissing about, okay? Now, let me just jump forward back to 2024. We're getting close to the end now. 2024, Christmas. I'm still convincing myself a legend. I'm a legend. I'm at my sister's house. The turkey's getting made. My brother-in-law's there, my mum's there, my two beautiful nieces are running round, my sister's cooking, they're all singing carols. I am having a shit. And I suddenly realised something. I realised, I don't know why it happened on Christmas Day last year, I realised that when I go to the toilet, it takes me ages to wipe. 20 minutes it takes. And I can see looking around the room, this is a room full of people who do little angel poos, one wipe and you're out. It's like the fucking Serengeti when I go. It's like I've got a hippo's tail. I'm like an industrial crop spreader. And it only occurred to me this year. Whatever TV shows you may have seen me on, when I go to the toilet, it's a fucking mess. And I came out, my brother-in-law was walking past the door, and now he is a bowel surgeon. And I thought, why have I never asked Keith about this? So I went, Keith, and he went, yeah, what's up, mate? I went, I just realised, it's been for my whole life. When I go to the toilet, it takes ages for me to wipe. He goes, you fucking tell me about it, you've been there all morning. I went, I know, but do you think it might be medical? And he goes, oh, I wouldn't have thought so, mate. And I went, wow, because it's always, it does worry me a bit now I think about it. He goes, well, I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. I went, okay. And he went, do you want to have a look at it? I went, have a look at my butthole. He goes, yeah, do you want me to have a look at your bum hole? And I went, no. I don't want you to look at my bum hole on Christmas Day. Anyway, I'll grow up, man. How many bum holes do you think I see? 20, 25 bum holes a day? Let's have a look at your bum hole. So, Christmas Day 2024. I went upstairs into my sister's spare room. I pulled my trousers and my pants down. Keith leant in. I was struck by two things, ladies and gentlemen. First, how icy cold his fingertips were. And secondly, that realistically, these are the fingers that touch my sister. Keith leant forwards and he opened up the worst of all Christmas presents. And he stared into the abyss. And he went, Then he snapped it back shut. And he went, oh, I don't think there's anything to worry about there, Greg. And I went, oh no, is it good? He goes, yeah, I think it's fine. I go, did you see anything? He goes, yeah. I mean, you've just got a bit of a baggy one. I went, I've got a what? He goes, you've just got a bit of a baggy bum hole. I went, a baggy bum hole? I went, yeah, you've got a baggy bum hole. I went, are you trained? He went, yes, thank you very much. I'm a fully trained bowel surgeon. You can't just say I've got a bum hole like a drop neck sweater. He goes, well, what do you want from me? I went, I don't know, some Latin? He went, Greg, it's no big deal. Some bum holes are baggy. You've got a baggy one, deal with it. I went, can you tighten it? He goes, no, I can't tighten your bum hole. I've got to go and carve the turkey. So I'm left, 56 years of age, finding out for the first time that I have a loose bum hole. And I think, I can't. It doesn't matter what else I've done in life, I can't go through life with a loose bum hole. Then I remembered I'd done some gigs in Japan, and I went, aha! Who's been to Japan? You been to Japan? Been to their toilet? Woo-wee! Amazing, right? The Japanese toilet washes your bum hole for you. It has lasers. It finds your bum hole with incredible accuracy. I mean, I say incredible, with mine it's a bit like throwing a dart into a cave. But even all you nice bumhole, you tight little bumhole people I can see out there, it would still find your little pink spots. It finds them with the lasers and it fires a jet of beautiful warm water, it cleans your bumhole, then another arm comes out and it dries your bumhole. And I went, I am getting me a Japanese toilet. And I rang a company, I went, can you fit a Japanese toilet in my London flat? And they went, yes we can. I went, let's fucking do it. How much are they? They said they're £9,000. I went, I couldn't care less, I'm a fucking legend. I'll do a couple of nights in Liverpool, we'll be fine. Get it fucking fixed. So he came round, he tried to fit it and he couldn't for boring reasons. And as he left, I think he saw the disappointment in my face. And he went, hey. It's funny what comes out your mouth, isn't it? Hey. If you've got problems down there, we do have other things on our website that might be of use. I went on their website, there it was. £12.95. A gorgeous bit of chrome. Screws onto your shower. It's specifically designed for washing your bumhole. I ordered it, and I'm not being flash, I paid for fast delivery. It came, I flipped open the box, I went, oh, this is lovely. First thing in the morning, I've not had my coffee yet, I don't care, I'm too excited. I screwed it onto the shower, I got in, I made my first of two mistakes. I forgot when I went round the back with this item that I had a windsock for an anus. And where the instructions say place on, I may have placed it in. And then I instinctively reached over and I turned my shower to
full blast. And I hadn't checked the pressure, ladies and gentlemen, and I filled myself up like a fucking icing bag. I went to twice my normal size. I grabbed the thing, pulled it out of my ass, and I turned it off, and I stood there like this. In this awful silence. And then I started to hear distant sounds. And then it happened. There was a pressure in my chest. And it was a thing that spread down my body like a tsunami. Where I went, and I just instinctively put my hand behind me. And I heard this noise. I know it's only Wednesday night, but there's no nice way of me saying this. I pulled my hand out, and I had done a full shit in my hand. Do you understand? You've got to understand. I'm not talking about a bit of shit. A full shit. I don't know how many people in this room have ever felt the weight of one of your shits. It's like a fox. It's like a dead fox. And I just instinctively walked over to the toilet. And I stood over the toilet. And I just instinctively just dropped it in. Well, if you are 6'8", you do not drop a kilogram of shit from this height. The splashback was insane. It's like a fucking depth charge. I went and stood in front of the mirror. I'm 56 years of age. I'm currently the host of 3 television shows. And I looked at my face, peppered in my own shit. And I went, you fucking legend. I thought comedy would cure me. I thought comedy would make me a proper person. And I love what I do, don't think, let's not pretend I don't love it. I fucking love it. But I thought it would solve problems. Going through the comedy hierarchy and getting better or getting further, it surprised me at every turn. I'll never forget the day I first got recognised. It almost killed me with excitement. I went, at last, now I'm a human being. Now, it's like the bit in the 90s film when the couple get together. That's how I felt. I'm real now, I can get on. I marry a sex worker, I start being kind. You know what I mean? It felt definitive to me. When someone recognised me, they went, oh my God, it's a girl. She went, oh my God. I can't believe it's you. It was in a bar. We were on tour with Barry. And I'm barely on telly, and I couldn't believe it. She went, I can't believe it's you. I love you. I think you're so funny. Oh my God. I went, oh, thank you so much. And I turned to Barry and I went, this is our life from now on, Barry. I went, that's so kind of you. She went, oh my God. And her friend went, leave him alone. She went, I can't leave him alone. I've wanted to meet him for years. You're just incredible. I went, please. They dragged her away, and then she came back for one last look, and this is what she said. Fucking gutted. And then to the rest of a 6-month tour, every single morning, Barry Castanola sent me a different picture of Martin Clunes. Who'd have thought that cunt's had so many photos taken? Have a look. Clumsy in the sea. Clumsy on a horse. Oh, Clumsy with some horses. Clumsy with a horse. Clumsy with some horses. Clumsy with a horse. Clumsy with a mink glove. Clumsy with a mink glove. Then I got one of my first big TV breaks. I got invited on Alan Carr's New Year's special. I thought, here we go. Stamp, you're a real person. We're off. I went in, Mel B was in the dressing room, a proper celebrity. I went, hello Mel B. And she went, oh, I'm not doing this fucking show. Fucking shit they want us to do. And I went, I don't care what they want me to do. what they wanted me to do was they wanted me to have a mime song battle against another celebrity. We had to mime a song each. If you got it wrong, the other celebrity could punish you. And they punished you because we were wired up to electrodes. And we were electrocuted by the other celebrity every time we got the lyrics wrong. The other celebrity was Danny Dyer. And he was shit-faced before the show. I went to see him, I went, all right, Danny, we're doing this thing together. And he went, yeah! I went, this is fucking hell, this is highbrow television, isn't it? Danny had chosen Living on a Prayer to sing. He couldn't speak. They wired us up to electrodes. Danny started singing Living on a Prayer, and he didn't sing one word. He just went like this. Yeah, fucking have it! And I thought, well, I can't just electrocute him throughout this whole thing. That's not good telly. I'll just electrocute him every now and then. So every third, yeah, I went, and he went, yeah. I think he'd forgotten what the game was. He fucking Then it was my turn. I chose to mime 99 Problems by Jay-Z because I'm a tragic white middle-aged man. I know that song back to front because I was raised on the hood, in the hood in Shropshire. I'm about to. I started rapping it fucking perfect. Not a word. Danny Dyer was getting cross because he'd been electrocuted. And he could see that this man knew Jay-Z far too much for his tastes. And he started going, it's fucking it's fucking And the more he realised I knew it, he started going, no, he's fucking getting it. So he grabbed the button and he just started electrocuting me at random. Now, unfortunately for Danny, he picked up the wrong button. So one of my first TV breaks, ladies and gentlemen, is me standing next to a beloved soap star while he electrocutes himself and shouts the word cunt. I imagine you think I'm making this up, so have a look.
If you having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 pounds for the bitch ain't one.
I remember friends, my family seeing that and going, is that what you dreamt of, Greg? Was that the big fucking dream? And I thought, Jesus Christ, I'm not even getting recognition for this. Then it came in, the big one. It was called We Are Clang, but that's the loveliest heckle I've ever had. I am Clang, we are Clang, sorry. Fucking fuck. Yeah, I mean, I had several breaks, but the big one in terms of getting respect from my family, Buckingham Palace Road. My mum, all she cares about is the royal family. It's the only thing that'll impress her. And they said, would you like to come to Buckingham Palace? Princess Anne is hosting a celebrity dinner. Would you like to come and bring a guest? And I went, I very much would. And they said, I said, well, why have I been invited? And they said, oh, you've been invited because of all your excellent work for motor neurone disease. So, if you'd like to come along, bring your mother or whoever you'd like to bring, we'll see you on the 28th. And I went, okay, that's wonderful, thank you, I will. I rang Mum and she was thrilled. And I did buy her a dress, and we did go. Now,
Here's the catch. I haven't raised any money for Motor Euro. So I found myself in somewhat of a dilemma. True recognition, becoming a rounded person at last, and taking a place at a charity dinner that I don't deserve to be at. So we went. We got there. There were some fascinating celebrities. I'll tell you the ones that pertinent to the story. Susanna Reid, the news presenter, was there. More about her later. Lizard-faced actor Benedict Cumberbatch was there. And then I knew I was in a serious motor neurone area, because who wheeled past us? Oh yeah, Hawking. I thought, this is heavy duty. If Hawking's here, this is heavy. Princess Anne was wandering around. The only other celebrity you need to know about is my mum's new best friend. She spent the whole night with her head up his ass. Who else but Judge Rinder? Now, we had this amazing meal, 4 courses, butlers coming out. It was fucking mental. My mum, it's the first time I've seen my mum with genuine pride. She looked at me and she went, my son is a comedian. And I went, I was fucking laughing at her. And then something awful happened. A maitre d' came out and went, now we finished, before we retire to the drawing room for drinks, we'll go round the table and we will discuss what everyone has done for motor neurone disease. And they went round one by one. This is Susanna Reid. She played tennis for a day for motor neurone, raised £300,000. This is Benedict Cumberbatch. She done some acting and raised $500,000. Judge Rinder, whatever, it was getting closer and closer to me. And I was fucking shitting myself. And it got to me, and I just closed my eyes. And my mum went, what's the matter? And I went, nothing the matter. This is Greg Davis. He's raised thousands from motor neurone disease. And I went, and across the table, I clocked someone. Reid. And she just raised her eyebrows at me like this. And I went, please talk to me. We went out into the, for drinks afterwards. I said to Mum, let's go. And she went, well, we're not going anywhere. What are you talking about? I went, let's go. We've had a lovely time. Let's go. She went, why are you being like this? I went, please, let's go. She went, I want to meet Benedict Cumberbatch. I said, you've had enough. You've had a nice day. We're going. Rinder overheard, he came over and went, Paulie, if you want to meet Benedict Cumberbatch, you will. And she dragged an 83-year-old over to bore the fucking shit out of one of the nation's beloved actors, and I'm left standing on my own, looking at my watch, going, please, 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 when all of a sudden I hear a voice. What did you do? I turn round, it's Susanna Reid. And I went, She went, what did you do to raise money? And I went, why? She goes, you know why. I went, I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, you know why. You haven't done anything. And I went, Susanna Reid, how could you? And then something awful happened. I looked over to see Mum just to make sure she wasn't asking Benedict Cumberbatch to feel her tits. And I saw someone trundling towards us. It's Hawking. And she goes, you better start speaking, Greg, because I'm going to start telling people. Hawking's getting closer and closer. And I think, no. Hawking ends up between us. And she goes, well, Greg, why don't you tell Stephen Hawking what you did to raise money? And I looked down, and his beady little eye appears. And he looked at me for what seemed like an eternity. And I looked at Susanna Reid, her eyes wide, and I felt a fraud. I looked at my mum, crying and laughing with Benedict Cumberbatch, with Judge Rinder, and I thought, this is awful. And I went, oh, God! What do you want from me? And a voice came from beneath us. Just leave it. She's not worth it.
That's not true, but I've never thought of a way out of this routine. Now, before I move on, I had raised most of the Neuro money, by the way, in case you think I'm a fucking arsehole. I realised afterwards I'd done some charity gigs in my home county in Shropshire, and afterwards they came up to me and they went, what do you want to do with the money? And I went, I don't care, give it to charity. And they said, which one? I went, who cares, just give it to a charity. It was mostly Euros, I'm a great guy. What I'm saying is I'm a great guy. Christmas Day 2024, I found myself sitting, we're about to watch a Bond film, and I felt, I don't know, I was unsettled. I found out I had a baggy bumhole. I found out that giving yourself a label, doing all right at something, you know, I love the comedy, I love doing it, I'm never happier when I'm on stage, but I found out it's not the end of the journey once you get your label. And I just felt something wasn't quite right. And I watched my sister just being a wonderful mum, and of course we reminisced about her fucking nursing career, what a great nurse she was. I watched my bowel surgeon brother-in-law walking through, I watched my mum enchanted, and I just felt, God, there's never an end to the road, is there? So, I fell back on the only thing I've ever been good at. I decided to wind my sister up. Now it's hard, man. It's hard, ladies and gentlemen. She's 52. She's a mother of two, so I have to, when I do it, I have to go in hard. So I went, Sian, and she went, no. And I went, oh, go on, it's Christmas. She went, no. It stops. I want to watch the film. We're not doing question time. I went, well, let me ask one. And she went, all right, do you know what? Go on then, ask one. Now, you remember the Wally Bongo thing. You have to go in contentious. So I went in hard. I went, Sian, if I realised I was in the wrong body and I wanted to medically transition, would you go on girly nights with me? I thought I fucking nailed her early doors. She'll go, no, full of fuck. And I'll go, you ignorant northern bigot. But she got me. She went, yeah, no problem. I went, what? She went, yeah, of course I would. If you, my beloved brother, genuinely discovered you were in the wrong body, I would thank God that we live in a day and age where you can do something about it and you can make yourself happy, and I would be delighted to go on girly nights with my 6'8" sister. I went, she's fucking good. So I had to take a different tack. I went, Sian, she went, yeah, she's cocky now. Yeah, go on, ask me another. And I went, if Keith got in a car accident and he lost both of his legs, would you stay with him? And she went, yeah, of course I would. I went, you fucking wouldn't. She went, of course I would. And Keith went, oh, cheers, Sian. She goes, no problem, Keith. I married you for who you are, not for your legs. Of course I would. I thought, shit, I'm a dinosaur. I've got no actual skills left in the world. So I threw the last roll of the dice. I went, Sian. She went, yeah. I went, what if it wasn't his legs he lost? What if Keith lost his penis in that accident? And she went, well, that might be different. I went, here we fucking go. Keith went, what? Why? She goes, oh, come on, Keith, I'm not gonna have a husband with no penis. She goes, why not? I thought you married me for me. She goes, yeah, but come on, I've got needs. It's fucking weird. Not having a husband with no penis. I went, Sian. She went, what? I thought, I've got her. She's nearly gone. One last little push is all it takes. I went, Sian. She went, yes, what? I went, what if the hospital rang you the day of that awful accident? And they said, Mrs. Davis, we've got a perfectly good donor penis. Being as it is, someone medically transitioned earlier today. Christmas Day 2024, my 52-year-old sister shouted the following sentence. I'm not going to let my husband fuck me when my brother's dead! And I stood there And I went, you fucking legend. But it felt like a hollow victory. Because basically the whole family went, for God's sake, and my mum went, for God's sake, for God's sake, when are you going to grow up? And I went to bed feeling pretty dejected. Then, real life called. Peter, not finished, remember him? Peter rang me to say that Cliff, his dad, the peat digger, had died. And I knew Mr. Bellingham his whole life, so it was awful for a friend to lose their dad. So obviously, I attended the funeral. Peter was doing the eulogy, and I've got to admit, I thought, good luck with this, Peter, because as far as I'm aware, all Cliff did was dig Pete for his whole life, and in the 40 years I knew him, as lovely as he was, I genuinely think the only thing he ever said to me was, oh, hello. So I went, this is going to be fucking fascinating. Peter stood up and he said, his opening line was this, my dad didn't do much in his life. I went, amen. Didn't fucking have a label of any kind, peat digger. And then he said this, he dug peat, he retired, he used to feed the birds in the garden, and he liked growing big cucumbers. End of life story. And I stood there in the silence, and I thought, maybe I have done all right. And then he said this, my dad trod lightly on the earth, and we could do with a few more people like him these days. And I felt a deep shame. And I thought, it's fucking true. We're all crawling over the top of each other. We're all desperately trying to prove that we're this and we're that. And really, the joy of life is growing big cucumbers. And I started remembering little things in my life straight away. I remembered me and Barry Castanola got in a dinghy in Cornwall, and we went out in a little putt-putt dinghy, and I wondered what this strange feeling was, and I realised I was content. And basically what I'm saying is Barry was my big cucumber. I started remembering little things. I remembered the day I saw my dog running in the snow. I remembered the day I taught my older niece to ride a bike and I beat that fucking surgeon to it. I remembered little victories. I didn't say they were all good memories. I remembered little victories. I remembered when I was 30 years of age and a depressed teacher, a teacher coming up to me and going, happy birthday, welcome to the soon-to-be fucked club. And I went, what? He goes, you're old now, son. All the fun times are behind you. You're a teacher for life. You'll go through for another 35 years, you'll retire, and then you'll die. I went, I'm not old. He goes, you are fucking old. You're 30. It's over. You're not one of the cool kids. And I went, how can you say that? He goes, when was the last time you bought an album, a new album? And I went, what? He goes, no. You go and you re-buy all the albums from when you were 19 and 20, don't you? You're listening to the old albums from when you were a kid, aren't you? And he was fucking right. And the memory I remember is I drove straight to a HMV. Young people, ask your parents. And I went in and I said the saddest sentence I've ever said to anyone. I said to the woman behind the counter, what's the coolest album out at the moment? And she said, it's the Libertines, no doubt about it, Up the Bracket by the Libertines. I bought that album and I played it for a whole summer and I felt young again. And I remembered that summer. And I remember I played that album straight away, and all these wonderful little memories came back. It was fucking great. Now, let's not pretend I don't love my job. I host Nevermind the Buzzcocks. It's one of my favourite shows of all time. But the biggest thrill I got from it was they said, Pete Doherty from the Libertines is going to be a guest. And I never go and see the guests because I don't know who any other fuckers are left. But I went down and I saw Pete Doherty, and I knocked on his dressing room, and he ambled out and goes, hey man, how's it going? And I went, hey Pete, you alright? He goes, yeah, I'm good, thanks. I said, I just want to say how thrilled I am to have you on the show. And he went, oh, it's great to be here. And I went, because not just the show, like bigger than the show, there was this one summer and you saved it with one of your albums. It's silly, but I won't bore you with it, but I just want you to know, it was really special for me, Up the Bracket. It's like a big, important memory of mine. And he went, thanks, man. That's so cool. And I remember having absolute clarity in that moment, ladies and gentlemen of Liverpool. It doesn't matter what you put your energies into, you have to enjoy these little moments. You have to park what you think your label is, what you think people think of you. You have to live in those little moments. And then Pete Doherty said something to me, and I'm going to leave you on this. He said this. I said, I'm a fucking legend, mate. That's what I am. I should fuck off with a bit of dignity now, but can I just say, it's the first night of the tour, me and Barry were shitting ourselves, and Humanity in its rawest form. I've never had such fun with an audience. Thank you so much, mate. What to do, and I'll see you after the